Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Ask the Dietitian with Professor Lindsay Howard. Good morning, Lindsay. How are you? Afternoon, I should say.
Yes, just about.
Yeah, thank you for accommodating the time change and the day change. We had some angry people yesterday, angry because they were here Monday at 11 a.m. and we were not. So my DMs were blown up a little bit, and we apologize, guys. Easter holidays and such.
Yeah, it was Easter Monday.
And that's such a slow day, right? Easter Monday.
Yeah, you got to get back in the flow, especially with the Sunday holiday.
Yeah. It's like you get ripped off on a Sunday holiday, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of nice for the churchgoers, of course. Easter Sunday, that's a great thing, right?
Yep. Yeah, but even for us, like usually I work at a Catholic school, so usually we have like Thursday, Friday, Monday off, but we started the semester late, so we had to eliminate those days off. So we were right back at it.
Oh no. Is that because of COVID, the menu or the schedule was changed?
Yeah, so we eliminated our spring break because we started a week late just in hopes that, more time, more vaccines, all that stuff. So yeah, they got a Wellness Wednesday, which I think caused more confusion than it did help, but it is what it is. We're almost done.
What does the Wellness Wednesday consist of?
Just a day of no classes.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, so it's like middle of the week, there's no classes?
Yeah. But it was just the 1 week. It was the week we were, okay. It was literally one day, one break day. So
a lot of the local elementary grammar schools here, they kind of have that remote or like hybrid, but they almost all have that Wednesday off to clean the school.
Nice. Yeah.
Right. So I thought that was something, but college now, let's get back in here.
No mercy.
No mercy. You guys are fine. From what they're doing in the dorms and the houses, their immunity is, I'm sure, at peak operating levels.
I hope so.
They've been exposed to.
I hope so. In the beginning of the semester, there was a little blip, but I think we're good. I think we're in the clear.
I agree.
Yeah.
We got. What's that?
Only have a couple weeks left. So.
And when are you done? When is this school season over for you?
I think it is the second week of May.
Wow, so that's coming quick.
Yep.
Well, this ties in perfectly with the theme of today's show, summer body. I mean, school's almost out, college is almost out, grammar schools are almost out. They might push a little to early June or so. But regardless, I'm looking outside. Today might be the most perfect day of the year today. Right now, sunshine, blue skies, warm, a little cool breeze that allows you to have a zip-up hoodie should you want to wear it. Brandy will. I typically won't, but it's nice to have it, right? Put some stuff in your pockets. It's the perfect day today.
Little extra storage. If I could live in a world where it was 70 degrees every single day,
I'm in. Right?
If anybody knows of a part of the world that is literally 70 degrees, plus or minus 5 degrees every single day, I would like to go there.
365 days a year.
Yes.
Okay. We should start a commune out there.
Yes.
I'm down. I dig it.
Send me.
Right. Well, let's touch on some questions as the questions come in, and then we'll jump to the summer body concept and really help people understand what that means. Mama Coochie says, how do I help my wife stay away from desserts? No matter what I try, it doesn't work. Any thoughts onto this one? There's so many ways this could go, but Professor.
Yeah, I think first and foremost is not having the stuff in your house, just not buying it. I think willpower is definitely a thing that people do not possess enough of. But same thing, eating out. Do you really need to, after you've just stuffed yourself, do you really need to order dessert after that? Probably not. But no, I think just getting rid of it out of your house, making that no longer part of your life. You don't buy Oreos, you don't buy a package of cookies or whatever it may be. And then there are some alternatives you could do. Like you could switch to a dessert that is a healthy dessert. Like I had an apple with almond butter last night and it was phenomenal. Yeah. I've been off of almond butter for a long time. I haven't had it in so long. And I had it last night. I'm like, yes, it is back. I'm going with it. But no, switching to a little bit healthier options. That would be my suggestion. And it's just, why are you eating that? Why do you need to eat that? You feel like crap afterwards anyway.
So shaming, essentially.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, shaming works extremely well for people who refuse to take accountability for their actions, right? People who just act as if they're not eating crappy food. It's like, hey, I understand donuts are bad for me, but I have a hankering for Krispy Kremes for the last 3 weeks now, and I'm going to kill half a dozen. High five. I'm going to watch you eat it. Like, no worries. I'll drive you there. No worries. Right. But if it's people that pretend like what they're doing isn't counter to their goals, or it's unhealthy, or, it's sometimes it's a toxic situation, a toxic relationship with food. But also be careful, you being the husband, because you might be too close to the battlefield to be effective. Right. And that's always a tough one, where we try and intercede on behalf of what we know best for those closest to us. Even if you're right, you're going to be wrong. Yeah. That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you speak all the time about like your closer family, like not listening to anything that you say. Nothing. So oftentimes you need to pull in like an outside source or an outside expert, or maybe you should go like talk to somebody else about it, and they might take their kind of opinions or thoughts more seriously.
What's interesting is one of my professional peers, someone who works in professional sports in a coaching role, without saying too much information, reached out and says, hey, I want to schedule an appointment for someone very close to me, very close in my life, whomever that may be, doesn't matter for the purpose of this. There's a couple issues going on, but I can't be effective in coaching this person through that. Can you take a swipe at it effectively? So we set up a consult, get on the line, do the face-to-face. And at first it was very dismissive of, like, he thinks I need to talk to you. I think I know what I'm doing. Okay, so if that's the energy I'm getting, I can only imagine that interpersonal energy of being so close. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, through motivational interviewing and experience and empathy and compassion and not being emotionally associated, I was able to give a very outside objective view on a few things. And we were able to, I think, create a lot of benefit and value for this person. To Lindsay's point, that might be something to consider. Is you might be too close. Maybe there's somebody who you can defer that conversation to. Maybe it is Lindsay. Maybe you set up a one-on-one consult with Lindsay for your significant other. And I think that could be amazing also.
Yeah, it is definitely interesting when you think about the relationship side of things. Kind of getting off the question here, but even like I have a couple personal training clients that I've been training for 5-6 years. And it's like, even still, it's a little bit harder to say the hard things. What makes it easier and harder, because, you know each other so well. Like, you go to their wedding, you're their friend, and they know you very well. So it's like, you get a little bit more lax in the relationship. But every now and then it's like, hey, we got to take a step back and remember why we're here. Remember why we're doing this, and kind of revisit the goals and all that stuff.
Yeah. It's a great point. Also lead by example. Mm-hmm. For those of you out there listening, I know this conversation kind of spreads pretty wide here. How can I respect you if you don't live up to the values that you are espousing? There's a lot of people that talk about what you should do. When you pull back the curtain of their own life, you see what a mess their life is. It's very hard to be treated as a credible influencer if you're not credible. So you can't tell your wife what she should be eating when you're kicking back a couple brewskis and eating a meatball parm sandwich, right? No matter how you look, like you're going to lose credibility. And that's with us. We have to live it. We have to live it. We have to breathe it. We have to do it. And I always use the analogy, will you hire a bankrupt accountant?
That's true.
I mean, come on. So you have to be that. Omar, bang, bang, bang. What's up, Coach Omar? Good to see you. Ash says, any tips on achieving the Jake Gyllenhaal body? 6-hour workouts, etc. I don't know it's 6-hour workouts. Maybe that means Jake was training for 6 hours, or this guy has 6 hours to train. But any thoughts on getting that Jake Gyllenhaal body?
I mean, get signed to a contract for a major movie that you have to look like Jake Gyllenhaal for.
Yeah.
And then you'll be motivated.
Yeah.
So it is interesting, you know, people compare themselves to like we think of like The Rock and like other, you know, just male specimens in the acting world. But think about what they have hanging over their head. They have 30 cameras on them, you know, shooting a movie. So they have to look a certain way. So from a motivational standpoint, I think it's not necessarily motivation. It's like, I have to do this or I will get fired.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tapping in and trying to find your own motivation. You know, I want to look like this. Print a picture of Jake Gyllenhaal out and put it on your mirror. I don't know, whatever it takes. Yeah.
I think that's a great point. And what you're touching on that I'm hearing is the internal drive. You want to look like Jake Gyllenhaal. What's stopping you?
Yeah.
Honestly, what's stopping you from looking like him? It's not a lack of information. There's information everywhere. Right. It's not a lack of access. You can literally get that body with push-ups and sit-ups and squats and runs and sprints and rope climbs and whatever else it is. Very simple, because he had a fighter's physique, and that's what you're speaking about in that Southpaw, that movie, right? Amazing. But I guarantee you, he dedicated every decision in his life to looking like that, to embody that character, because his career was on the line. He really wanted to perform well. He had that internal drive. He was getting paid a ton of money to do it. He was going to be damn near naked for the whole world to see. Like, you want to talk about motivating factors. So for you, what's your motivating factor? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What makes you jump out of bed in the morning? What gets you in the bed early the night before so you're prepared to jump out of bed before the sun even comes up in the morning? That would be my question. It's not a macro split. That stuff is easy. Just click the links below. We got all the nutrition and the exercise for you, but it's going to come from upstairs.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing. Like, it's just a wild concept, because people will say like, wow, like nutrition's actually kind of simple. I'm like, yeah, it is. Everybody knows what to do, but they're always looking for, you know, a different way or an easier way, or, you know, a way that they could kind of bend the rules and all these things. But the information is there. Everybody knows. Follow a good diet, exercise regularly, get enough sleep, drink enough water, you know, the basic things. But it's such a mental game, for sure. Such a mental game.
It would be interesting if we could run a poll, and if it could be honest. Of course, we can't get this funded for sure. And I would love a much larger segment of the population. But I know in doing what I do and speaking with so many people one-on-one that I speak with, the majority of the people tell me, I eat great. I eat really well. I eat pretty good. What do you eat? Well, I mean, I have, you know, chicken and quinoa. When did you have that? 2 days ago. What did you eat today? Well, today was a little bit different, because no matter who I talk to, the day I say, what'd you eat today? Well, that was always the one crazy day in their life. They have selective memory. And what I find in time, because I kind of track this, the ones and the zeros of this, and I understand the vast majority of people, they don't embody the lifestyle that they profess. They believe they're healthier. They believe they exercise more. They believe they eat better. They believe they get good sleep. They believe they manage stress better than they actually do, when in reality, they're really terrible at it. They're probably like scoring a 20 out of 100 in actually managing it. And to Lindsay's point, again, I love, you know, what she says, and just kind of expand a little bit to that point. They're simply, those who are successful, they don't follow a specialized diet plan. I mean, they're probably following ours, I got to say, but there's no specific micro macro split, no calorie cycle, no specific, you know, interval routine on the Airdyne. There's nothing special. They just get out of bed every day and they stay diligent to the plan, and they don't make changes. They don't make alterations, and they don't add the extra ranch dressing when they're not supposed to have it. They don't go out for drinks with the beers and the wings and the pizzas and the stuff like that. They don't stand in their kitchen in their underpants in the middle of the night eating a little bit of cheese and you know, queso and chips and whatnot. All those little tiny things add up. And that's why, I mean, literally 4 out of 5 people now aren't in the bodies that aren't in a medically healthy body. right now. Think about that. Not my opinion. They're not even in a medically healthy body right now. Can you imagine the way that looks?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if we just kind of look at the data and that number keeps getting bigger, the percentage keeps getting bigger, that's 4 out of 5 people are lying to themselves about how healthy they actually are while clearly living in an unhealthy body, leading an unhealthy lifestyle.
Yeah, it's interesting. I saw a tweet this morning, and I don't remember word for word, but it was like, you should break your year up into weeks, and then obviously break your weeks up into days. And you want to win every week. So then you have to define for yourself, like maybe you're just getting started out. You have to win 5 of the 7 days in order to win that week. Or maybe you're just starting. You want to win like 3 or 4 days of the week. And then you have to determine how you win a day. So what does that look like? Are you not, what did you say? Put extra ranch dressing. So we're not going to use the extra ranch dressing. We're going to make sure we exercise. We're not going to have, a pizza. Oh, I ate really good for, breakfast and lunch and I had great snacks, but I could have pizza for dinner.
Yep.
So eliminate that day. So it's like being intentional. And I like that kind of tool to use, like win the day, win the week. So then you could look back and say like, well, in your mind, you're like, oh, I think I had a pretty good week. But if you break it up, you're like, shit, I only really won 3 of the 7 days.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. Win the day. I love that.
day.
True. Angel says, smash that like button. Thank you. We do appreciate that. The engagement is great. Bang, bang. Give us a thumbs up if you like the information. We like you guys being here. So thank you. Angel, I see the rest of your message. Don't worry, buddy. I'll reach out to you. Rebecca asks, why is gluten-free recommended? Example, the Pamela's pancake mix and the Ezekiel bread. What are the benefits? Well, to answer that, we have gluten-containing products for sure also, and I believe you're speaking to some of our meal plans, to which ones could be Living Lean Cookbook, 3 weeks to shred it. It could be the online bundle, all of that. You guys can click below if you're interested in what Rebecca might be referencing. But to that, it's just creating healthy options to reverse engineer. And it seems like if you're talking about the Pamela's pancake, it's likely talking about more of the Living Lean, which is a healthy living lifestyle program to maintain optimal strength, optimal energy, and an optimal body mass composition. We're not trying to get super shredded single-digit body fat percentage for men. Living Lean was created for men to attain approximately 12% body fat, to get you below 14% body fat. That is our Living Lean program. Most of my life, I live at about 11% body fat. Me at 11%, I feel awesome. I can pretty much eat these type of meals that I want. For ladies, where it's probably somewhere closer to, lower 20s as far as body fat percentage. We always give the ladies, 10% or 2x or so on top of the guys, and just a little bit more because the way body fat is accumulated on ladies and compared to men. So ladies, low 20%, that's pretty dang lean. I mean, the average Olympic female athlete competes in the mid-teens per se. So low 20s is pretty dang spectacular. Even mid and even like higher, mid-high 20s is very healthy for a lot of ladies out there. So don't really kind of, put too much into that. I always extra touch on that. But to answer your question, so the Pamela's pancake is a great, healthy option to have pancakes in your life, in your family, feed your kids, feed yourself. And if you go deeper, then you see our fresh berry syrup, which is fresh fruit, lightly steamed, broken down until it becomes a compote almost. And we use that as the flavor on top of the Ezekiel bread. So that would be for what we call East Coast breakfast toast, which is a healthy spin on French toast. Now, if you look at the nutrient panel of Ezekiel bread or a sprouted grain bread, Ezekiel bread is just a brand of sprouted grain bread. We really do push towards sprouted grain bread. You'll see the high net nutrient addition that a sprouted grain bread creates, as opposed to a Wonder Bread or traditional generic wheat bread. We're just looking for higher quality options, Rebecca. And there's many out there. One that we use, it's a quinoa pancake. We usually do like Mickey waffles with that. And it's just a way to give robust opportunities for families to create healthy meals without being egg white and asparagus and tilapia and dieting down. I eat Pamela's pancakes in my house once or twice a week. My daughter eats it. Or actually, we're on Birch Benders, I believe it is right now. We use Kodiak cakes also. So we have probably 4 to 6 high quality providers of pancake in-home, feed your kids quick that are healthy. You know, they're non-GMO, they're fair trade certified, they're organic, they have a lot of the extra quality standards associated with them. They have high, and I'm going longer to create context. It always starts with the ingredient list. We go through the ingredients. We understand the culture of the company. We can tell the culture of the company by what ingredients are actually there. Are they poisoning us, or are they really trying to provide a tasty product as healthy as possible? It's different, right? I want a tasty product that's as healthy as possible, which won't be as tasty as a tasty cake or a Hostess Twinkie or whatever it is. Won't quite be that, which is all chemicals, synthetic toxic chemicals. We're just looking for the most easy to transfer in. But that's with our Living Lean program. So if you want to be on the Living Lean program, that's like if you have 30, 40 or more pounds to lose, get on the Living Lean plan, get yourself down to like beach ready. You're beach ready by the end of Living Lean. But then you want to get shredded. We say then jump over to our 3 weeks of shredded, and you won't see the some of these extra ingredients. It's just an extra tier. All right, that was a lot of talking. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily like recommending gluten-free, but some of these products are just like, if you buy regular pancake mix, there's no nutrients in that.
Yeah.
Sure, you're going to get carbohydrates, but there's no additional nutrients in it. It's like eating an empty meal. So I don't think, like, to your question, it's not that we or Mike or the programs are recommending gluten-free. It's just these types of products happen to be gluten-free, and they're also healthier for you. So if you look at the rest of the meal plan, it's not like, oh, gluten-free products. Most of the food does not have gluten in it anyway. You know, fruits, vegetables, meat, lean meats, eggs, cheese, all that stuff. None of that has gluten. So we definitely are not saying eat a gluten-free diet, because there's so many garbage gluten-free marketed products that exist.
Most.
Yeah.
are and many, like keto approved, keto friendly. Well, bleach is gluten-free and keto friendly. I'm surprised somebody doesn't market it that way. I'm sure there's some form of bleach that uses these type of marketing terms to push them over, right? COVID-free bleach, right? There's got to be something out there. Omar says, question, if the brain needs 120 grams of glucose a day, does that mean the minimum daily carb consumption should be 120 grams? And what would the 120 grams, would that be 120 grams excluding fiber?
Yeah, I mean, 120 grams of carbohydrates is not a lot.
No.
At all. You know, I'm not sure what's the recommendation for keto, like less than 10 grams or something outrageous.
We say 20. We'll give them 20. The extra 10. We'll say 20, right? Okay. Above 20 grams,
yeah,
you're not getting into ketosis. And some will say, well, if you work out vigorously, you can get there. Bunk. Yeah. Anyway, continue. Yeah. Sorry.
But no, I don't think that would be excluding fiber. Like most people, and especially if you're following, you know, the Dolce, you know, recipes and things like that, you're going to get well above 120 grams of carbohydrate. The fiber, you know, it could be confusing because, like, on the keto diet, for example, you would subtract the fiber grams from the carbohydrate grams. But eventually, although the digestion process is slower once we introduce a high fiber food, you're still going to get the glucose from that gram of carbohydrate. It's not just going to like disappear into thin air. So yeah, I think, 120 grams is bare minimum. It's not like you're going to lose brain function in a day. But for optimizing, you know, our cognitive health and all those things, and just energy in general, we need carbohydrates for energy. So no, if you're really counting, if you really wanted to go like on a lower end of carbohydrates, I wouldn't go below 120.
No, and two things is you have stored glycogen. So if I eat 50 grams of carbohydrate today, well, I still have stored glycogen, muscle and liver that will be released to help the brain. My body will also create glucose if I'm really suffering, right? I can convert and create some extra glucose to keep things working.
Right.
Now, the longer I go, the worse off I'm going to be and the less I'm going to perform. And we all agree that, even the keto heads agree that longer term on keto performance, athletic performance goes down. You can still do relatively well based upon doing poorly. You can do pretty good half-ass work is kind of the way I look at it, but you will not do exceptional work, certainly not athletically, and very likely cognitively speaking. So if you're a lawyer, if you're a student, if you're a professor, if you're a writer, if you're an airplane pilot, you need to be properly fueled. And just think about some of these jobs. Do you want your cardiologist working on you while in ketosis? Nah, probably not. I want well-fed, topped off, perfect diet, non-processed. Like, I want like Michael Phelps kind of doctor in there, Lindsey Vaughn, let's say. I'm just thinking of a high-level notable athlete, LeBron James. Like, I want someone who takes their body that seriously, doing that intricate work, right? So if we think about it like that, it's like, oh, I think that kind of makes sense, right? If we would put it in that perspective. Good question, Omar, though. It's always ask great questions. Omar is one of our Dolce Diet certified coaches up in Canada. Always ask great questions, always pushing his clientele forward.
Yeah.
Amy, what's up, Amy? Good evening, guys. Revisiting UFC Fit. Ooh, I'm thinking of that summer body. Amy, appreciate you being here. Longtime member of the community, which is great. Revisiting our UFC Fit program, which is awesome. Those of you who have it, great. If you don't have it, I believe you can go to ufcgym.com and you might be able to gain access. I'm not sure, but that's where it's hosted for members of UFC Gym. So it continues to live on, and we don't sell the DVDs anymore. Those of you who have those, hold on to those. You might be able to buy them with an NFT one of these days. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
No, right. Mama Coochie, I need to add, even if I don't buy it, she can just walk to the store no matter what alternative I try. She'll always go back to the old unfaithful. Okay, you're still.
Desserts.
Gotcha. Rebecca, we're doing lists. If your heart rate jumps up a bit because of, say, playing with the dog, do you still get the benefits when it comes back? Yes. Yeah, that's no problem. Don't worry about it. It's funny. I've been doing my walk so consistently now. My heart rate is just like at 102. Like I can't. I'm like, all right, let me go farther. Let me go faster. I become so efficient now. And I was at 112, 114. Slow it down. This is going back to last summer. I remember trying to keep it below 110. Now I can't barely get it up over 100, walking farther and faster, covering more ground. Just shows how efficient the body becomes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as long as if you go for a walk outside, most places have hills. Like, you're gonna walk up a hill, your heart rate's gonna go up a little bit, but it's gonna come right back down.
Yeah.
As long as you're not walking up a hill for 30 straight minutes, that would become a higher intensity activity. So overall, on average, if your heart rate is down there, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, agreed. Paul has a question. Hey, guys, thank you for the content. Any advice for high blood pressure? I was told mine is 180 after fainting over the weekend, and no advice was given. Do you want to jump in with this, Lindsay? I know what the first statement should be.
What, the advice for the high blood pressure?
Go see a doctor.
Yes.
Do not predicate your health decisions upon two bobbleheads on the internet, as brilliant as we are. Go to your doctor, sit down with a qualified licensed physician and say, hey, this just happened. And then now we'll continue on with our entertainment only purposes answer.
Yes. Entertainment only.
Yes.
But you have to take a look at what your diet looks like. High blood pressure can be caused from stress. It can be caused from a chronic high sodium diet. It can be caused by being overweight. It can be caused by all of those things. So I think quick tips is take a look at the content of sodium in your diet. If you're putting salt on everything, if you're eating a lot of packaged foods, frozen meals, all that stuff, you're probably exceeding your recommended sodium intake. 180, that's high.
High.
And it's interesting because usually people faint when they have low blood pressure. So that is interesting. But 100%, go see your doctor.
See, doctor, and be very wary because high blood pressure can be intermittent, which means it could peak up to 180 and then kind of come down. So it's borderline normal. And if you are not proactive in your own health, which is why I say everyone listening, go to your doctor right now, call your doctor right now, schedule a checkup, schedule a wellness test, schedule a complete blood panel, as many tests as they can run, get them run. You're sitting in the chair anyway. Every test you can run, get it run. And every 3 months, preferably every 6 months maximum, you should go back and get it updated so you can see which way you're trending. People like Paul, this is for you. Now, you might do this for 15, 20, 30 years and be perfect. Love it. But every so often, someone maybe like Paul or Paulette might go to the doctor and find out, son of a gun, I have a kidney issue. Maybe your high blood pressure is due to a struggle with your kidneys. Who knows? High blood pressure can be indicative of cardiovascular disease. You could be creating some sort of hypertensive stroke-like state, not to like doom and gloom you, but to let you know this is serious business. Mm-hmm. High blood pressure is normalized because most Americans have high blood pressure because most Americans eat shitty diets and don't exercise. So they have an artificial high blood pressure raised through lifestyle, but because it's raised, it creates such a strain on the body, it begins to destroy the kidneys, destroy the circulatory system, and create the environment which blood clotting becomes probable, not just possible. So this is kind of, I want to doom and gloom a little bit here to scare you to call the doctor and be like, fuck, I need a blood test. Like I need a checkup. Mm-hmm. I don't want to mess around. And hopefully lifestyle, going for walks, cleaning up your diet, eating consistently, getting good sleep, woosah, breathing through the stress in your life. That's real. That helps. But medical intervention is always a strong possibility, and don't discount it on certain issues.
Yeah. This is just a funny story. I don't want to say aggressive, but like slightly aggressive when I drive. Because I just can't stand slow people and people who just don't know the rules of the road. So like I was like almost like road rage. Like I'd yell in my car. I was like that person. And somebody was like, you just need to take deep breaths as soon as you get stressed out. Like, you know, if you're waiting, like, you know, left turn yield on a green and the person's not going, I'm just like, instead of yelling. Sometimes I do, but that makes such a big difference. If somebody spends a lot of time in the car or like you get a stressful email or anything like that, deep breathing has such a good benefit in any stressful, you know, situation, for sure.
Yeah, and it's very well sourced, right? There is quite a large volume of supportive evidence to show what breathing, relaxation, meditation, visualization does for our physiologic state.
Yep.
What it does on stress hormones, the reduction of stress hormones, on the ability to assist in the reduction of blood pressure. I don't want to say anything is absolute here, but don't be Lindsay in traffic, or be Lindsay in traffic, we should say. Be Lindsay in traffic. Woosah. David says, I've been told it would be too much to do my full-time job, train for hypertrophy, which is muscle growth, and do 2 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes a week. My goal is to get to 220 pounds by the end of the year. I'm 208 now. Is this really too much? Well, talk about loaded questions. You want to jump in and start stabbing?
Right. I mean, I personally don't think it's too much.
Agreed.
You know, 2 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes a week is what, an hour and a half each. So 3 total hours, maybe.
Yep.
You know,
continue on. I'm going to grab my bro jug.
Your full-time job, maybe 35, 40 hours a week. And then training for hypertrophy, say you're going to the gym and lifting 3 to 6 times a week. I don't think that's too much. As long as you're prioritizing your sleep, you know, you're getting your meals planned for the day, you're not super stressed out. I think that's totally doable. Chug.
Oh, yeah. And I hear you the whole time. I agree completely. What's your training history? Like me, I couldn't put on 12 pounds this
I was going to say that part that's a little different. That's 12 pounds is a lot. You know, lean muscle mass in less than a year. That's a lot.
I like to use the analogy, especially with new clients. They like, I want to put on 20 pounds. I said, do you know what 20 pounds of muscle looks like? Go to the grocery store, go to Costco and grab 20 pounds of lean steak and hold it to your body. Like, that's huge. It's a lot, right? It's a lot, and it weighs a lot. So that 20 pounds, but one step at a time. Win the day. To Lindsay's point earlier, win the day. Win today. Get your 9 hours of sleep. Hit your 4 to 5 meals per day. Crush your workout. Get your prehab and rehab and warm-ups and warm-downs also built into there. Hit your foam rolling. Keep everything working the way it is, because an injury can dramatically offset any growth or any gain. Now you're out of the gym. I'd rather you hit 85% of your true potential in every workout than try and push it to 99 to 102%. And every 6 weeks, you get a kind of devastating injury that knocks you out for 3 to 6 weeks. I used to be that guy, by the way. I take more time rehabbing from training cycles than I did during my peaking cycles. You want to, the story of Icarus. You want to fly too close to the sun, you're going to burn your fucking wings off. Right?
True.
Anyway, Sam, what's up, Sam? Hope you're well. Got a client first today on 3 weeks to shredded. Boom, Sam Corey, another Dolce diet coach over there are you in Scotland, in England, in Ireland? Over in the UK. Apologies for that, Sam.
It's either Scotland or Ireland.
Scotland or Ireland. Crushing it, Sam. Proud of you, my man. That's awesome. We got a lot of questions actually in the queue right now. So let's try and run through them. Brian says, or Brandon, does quality of food matter, meaning organic versus regular? And how often should you consume red meat? Well, Lindsay, you jump in.
Yeah. It's interesting. I was just watching, I like to watch these documentaries sometimes to like learn, but also make fun of them. So like everybody's seen the classic like nutrition documentaries where they said eating one egg was the equivalent of like smoking 10 cigarettes, which is just absolute nonsense. But usually these documentaries have like, they're funded by something. They're funded by like a vegan, organization or something like that. So I recently watched the one called Seaspiracy. I don't know.
Yeah. We saw the preview. We're like, yeah, all right, we can't watch the brutality of it.
I was like, I could spend an hour and 20 minutes watching this. So most of it was like trying to get you to never eat fish ever again, because it's like inhumane how they catch fish and all this stuff. But there's actually a good point in it that said, and I'm taking away from organic versus regular, but we'll use farm raised versus wild caught. Yeah. Like fish, we know fish, omega-3 fatty acids, fish, those are hand in hand. But a scientist was explaining that fish eat plants, and that's where they get their omega-3s from. So if they're not eating these plants, they don't have the omega-3s in them. Yeah. And I was saying this to somebody yesterday. I'm like, it's not like they take every single, piece of fish and they take a little sample and they're like, oh, this is how many grams of, omega-3 is in them. No, it's just an assumption. This is how many grams of fish. This is how many omega-3s they have in them. Yeah. So if you're getting your meat or your fish, for this matter, from a farm-raised environment where there's so many fish and not enough nutrients for those fish, you're not getting any nutritious value from that fish versus a wild caught fish that is exposed to all sorts of, vegetation and plant life and all that stuff. So getting back to the red meat question, organic, free range, things like that, they 100% have more nutrients than something that is streamlined and there's more of them and there's less nutrients and all that stuff. Because you can't just think of the meat product, but you have to think about, and sorry if I offend anybody, the vegetarians or vegans here, but you have to think of that meat product when it was alive. What kind of life was it living? What was it fed? Was it fed corn all day and that's all it had? So it's, that's kind of how you have to think about it. Red meat in a week, a couple days. I probably have red meat once a week, but not every day.
If you want red meat. This episode is brought to you by Certified Piedmontese. Go to Piedmontese.com and feed your family the same way I feed mine. Right now, use promo code DOLCE to save 25% on grass-fed, grass-finished beef with free delivery. That's Piedmontese.com.
Good timing.
All right. Piedmontese. And that is Certified Piedmontese. They have grass-fed, grass-finished beef there. This is about as wild and free range as any beef product will be. That's why we love certified Piedmontese. That's why they are the only red meat company I've ever endorsed, and the exact one I feed to my own family. That's why I share it with you. I get nothing. We get nothing for your use of that promo code, by the way. So it's not like use the promo code, I get some cash. I get no cash. The full value is pushed back onto you if you guys care about that. Now, to also jump onto this question, when we talk about organic, we can say, well, look at our vegetables and our produce. I definitely want organic produce that hasn't been sprayed with the synthetic toxic chemicals that are so prevalent in non-organic farming. That's just an extra layer of healthy protection to which we know definitively organic, and a lot of the industry fools out there, they try and play on semantics. Well, organic isn't really organic, Dolce. Motherfucker, I'm saying organic, 100% organic. I have organic pears and tomatoes and parsley and thyme growing in my backyard, carrots and potatoes. That's all organic, mofo. So like, all right, from there, I get organic tuna from the ocean that I get on a boat and I go 30 miles into the middle of the Atlantic and I pull it out of the water. That's motherfucking organic. So point is, that's organic. The farther I get away from that, the more contamination can come in. For-profit contamination, for sure. The preservation of a food item that was purchased or sourced from a plant in Scotland, let's say, and I know there are a lot of farm-raised salmon out there in Scotland. Well, I'd rather be in Alaska catching some Pacific Northwest sockeye, pulling it up onto my boat instead of getting the organic farm raised from Scotland, and definitely not the Atlantic farm raised non-organic salmon. As you go down the tier, you have a complete reduction in total nutrient quantity. And also you have a much higher incidence of contamination of synthetic toxic chemicals, preservatives, flavor additives, color additives, all the BS. So anytime you go out into the world, just think, what is closest to wild? What's as close to wild as I can get where I am right now based upon the money in my pocket? What's the closest to wild and the farthest from synthetically processed? Keep that in mind and you're fine.
Mm-hmm. And I know a lot, not to knock on your certified Piedmontese, but there's a lot of local places and local farms, depending on where you live, that you can get large quantities of, beef and other meat products cheaper than you could get them at the same quality from the grocery store. So look into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely look local. A lot of local farming. Man, around here, New Jersey is the garden state. Most people don't realize that. The ability to get high quality produce, but also eggs. Mm-hmm. And there's probably 50 farms within 10 miles of where I am, less than like 5 miles of where I am right now, that have eggs outside. They just more eggs than they can deal with from all their little chickens laying eggs. It's like that stuff is awesome. Mm-hmm. Brian, hope you're both doing well. Thoughts on gluten-free foods? I think most people who stop eating gluten feel better because they're eating more real whole food, especially if they don't have celiac. Lindsay, we did touch on gluten-free earlier with Rebecca's question, but we can touch on it again.
Yeah, I think there's just a misconception. Like, you could eat a really bad gluten-free diet by definition, or a really great gluten-free diet. A great gluten-free diet would be lean meats, eggs, produce, fresh produce, things like that. A bad gluten-free diet would be going down the gluten-free aisle and being like, boom, 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 and get all this stuff. Yeah. So I think it's scary when, say somebody does get a celiac disease diagnosis, they think they have to immediately hit the gluten-free diet, aisle, which is not the case. Most food products don't contain gluten. So it's very easy to, maintain a gluten-free type diet if you're medically told to, without eating those gluten-free marketed products.
Agreed. Most of the gluten-free products are soda and candy bars in that category, closer to that category than healthful whole food. So buyer beware. Amy says, good evening. Revisiting UFC Fit. It's been a few years, thinking of that summer body. Should hit week 12 as the UK lockdown ends. Awesome timing. Anything specific I should be mindful of as a busy vegan mom? Well, number one, Amy, remember the amount of activity you have performed over the 12 weeks. When you leave UFC Fit, continue on training at the same times and hopefully at similar levels of intensity. Many people, when they go through a training phase, they hit their goal, they look great, and then they stop or they start to pull back on the energy expenditure equation, and they don't make a change to the energy intake equation. Therefore, they start to build a surplus simply by not exercising as often and to the same intensity, but they haven't adjusted their calories slightly down, not completely down, slightly down to adjust for that. So that would be one thing, Amy, which a lot of people can fall into. So if you do tone it back, which is great, maybe a little more passive training, a little more yoga, Pilates, it's nice to come out of UFC Fit and change it. Keep 2 to 3 days per week of that full body intensity training. I'd say a little more active recovery, athletic training, maybe on the days in between. But consider softening those calories just a little bit also, and be ultra stringent on not cheating. I'm not celebrating, because continue riding the wave that the UFC Fit system created for you. Brian Henley, what's up, Brian? Living lean for life. Brian Henley, fashion model, effectively, right? Freaking looks phenomenal, in amazing shape. Husband, father, hardworking man, and just ripped up. Your friends must freaking hate you behind your back, my man. In a loving way, of course. Like, you just make them feel bad about their lives, which is a good thing. Sorry, friends. Mr. Russ, what's up, coach? Just got home from deployment. Ooh, and having the breakfast bowl and finished my fasted list. Love it, Russ. Russ, also a Dolce Diet certified coach, proudly enlisted, helping keep this country and the world safe. We appreciate what you're doing out there, Mr. Russ. You are the man.
Probably excited to be able to eat his own food.
I know, right? Oh, my God.
I don't know the quality of military food these days, but.
Sure you do. Sure you did. I don't even know if it's from, my contacts. It's not as, it's basically prison food that they can't complain about, right? There's no lobby trying to improve the meals for the enlisted men and women. Like, there's lobbies trying to, improve the food of prisoners, which, what are you doing, Nate says, is it okay to eat a big breakfast and big dinner and skip lunch? Snacking on nuts, fruit, and yogurt in between. Professor?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, we wouldn't skip any meals. Some people are in very extreme circumstances where they have, like, insanely busy schedules and they can't sit down to eat a whole meal at one time. That would take you, 20 minutes to eat healthfully. So if you have to eat a big breakfast and then a big dinner, say before you leave for work and then after you get home, just make sure your snacks are of, a high calorie content. So maybe more than just nuts, fruit, and yogurt. Maybe you need to bring like a whey protein shake. If you have fruit, add some nut butter to it. Add some more calories to the point where you're not getting home and overeating at dinner. That's the biggest issue with people not even eating enough meals or not eating frequently enough.
Yeah.
Is they get so hungry that they overeat at whatever meal is next. I could finally eat, I could make this dinner, I could order this food, I could go out or whatever, and they end up overeating. So if your schedule allows for it, I would definitely try to include at least 3 major meals and then snacks in between. But again, if that's what your lifestyle demands, just make sure your snacks are more meal-like than snack-like.
Agreed. And also remember, when you eat, you eat. I don't care if you call it a meal, a snack, a smoothie, pre-workout, post-workout, dessert. It's caloric ingestion. You're ingesting energy. So kind of like changes. That's why the whole fasting thing, it's very confusing out there. You're eating or not eating. You're ingesting or not ingesting, and just kind of keep that plotted out. So easy. And be self-aware. I know I've been speaking to a lot of my personal clients about this lately. Be self-aware. How do you feel? How do you feel after a few hours? How are you performing in the gym? What are your numbers? What do your lifts look like? You going up? You feeling better? Or you just really fatigued and tired? How you doing at work? Are you funny at home? Are you stressed out? Like, think about this. Like, how does that matter? What about the, your trips to the restroom? How often is that? Is it easy? Is it convenient? Is it clean? It's a lot of just good self-awareness, I think, that'll help a lot of people in their regular life with not getting so dogmatic about nutrition, right? The hard dieting. And remember, this is summer shredded, getting that summer body. We'll actually close with that, some really strict takeaways for you to help get you in amazing shape. Brian was able to finally get his Jeep, my man. Also got my mother to start doing this. Brian, I'm proud of you, man. Living the dream right now, saved up, worked hard, focused, motivated, had a goal, worked towards it, and also spreading health to his family. He's got his mom out there now performing lists. Good for her. I can't wait till she has her first breakfast bowl. So keep me posted on that.
I've been hunting for like a beater Jeep Wrangler for the last year.
Ooh.
My free time is spent. I hunt for them. It's
funny. I went through a similar hunt because living here, there's Jeeps everywhere, right? And I could picture like my hair blowing in the wind and like, this the whole sundown and my glistening skin, the whole, you picture that, right? Driving through the mud and all that thing. And do it. Do it. Now, are you going to go automatic? You're going to go stick?
So there's far more sticks than there are automatic available. Sure. It's been a long time since I've driven a stick, but I was like, I want to get it for fun, so I might as well get a stick to make it more fun.
That would be more fun.
But no, I want one with like a dent in the side, like a 1998.
Okay.
2-door, just old beater Jeep.
That would seem rather abundant. There's probably quite a few dented 90 some odd Jeeps floating around there right now.
But I need one with less than, most of them have like 200,000 miles on them. They're on their third engine. It's like they're all rusted out. So you got to be careful.
Gotcha. And is it, you looking up there in Pennsylvania or are you looking around?
Yeah, mostly here. So
well, anybody has a Jeep they want to pass on to Professor Howard, definitely hit her up.
Yeah. If anybody has the auction connection.
Oh, and there you go. That's the connection, right? Let's see. So Michael says, what does a bulking diet look like?
It depends on your goals. Are you trying to get huge? Are you trying to put on just a little bit of weight? So it definitely depends on your individual goals. But I think people take bulking to the extreme and they're like, oh, it's bulking season. It does not matter what I eat. So they eat really unhealthy foods and, end up increasing their body fat percentage too much to then now we get this time of year when it's time to kind of shred down and you've put on too much weight. Yeah. So for most people, a bulking diet would look like systematically, slowly increasing your caloric intake, 100 calories here, 100 calories there. Maybe you're increasing up to maybe 500 calories a day, but not, some people are like, I'm adding an additional 1,000 calories every day. I can't even eat enough food. So I think people take it to the extreme. So my suggestion would just to be start slow and see how your body reacts over, a couple of weeks and then kind of see where you are from there.
Yeah, I agree. In order to bulk, it's slow progressions is everything, right? And we're looking to maybe make 300 calorie adjustments at a time and to then stay baseline and see how we progress. Do we get a little stronger? Are we getting stronger? Are we moving more weight with good form? Are we increasing volume and intensity? If so, we're going to keep calories relatively static and then slowly increase about 300 calories at a time, which is maybe about 10%, roughly speaking, if you're 115 or 300 pounds and still want to bulk at that level. Maybe there's some guys that are, I know some guys, Brock and Francis and some of these others that are, Shab, they're big fucking dudes, 280, 290, like nothing. Small changes. Now, here's the hard thing about bulking that most people get wrong. You should bulk the same way you get shredded. You should be as fixated on quality of nutrients, timing of nutrients, relationship of nutrients during your bulking phase, your building phase, as your shredding phase. And you should be looking to make small adjustments, not just drop all my calories. Most times when people bulk, they just double their calories. Well, that's not, you're going to get fat as hell. Now, imagine if most people what we know doesn't work, to go from 2,000 calories to 1,000 calories because you're going to get shredded now. You're going to freak out in about 2-3 days. It's not going to work. But to go from 2,000 to 1,800, you can do that for a few weeks until 1,800 becomes who you are, and then slowly take it down again. Wouldn't take it much lower, actually. I started too low to build that out. Right? Yeah, I'm at 3,200 calories. In order for me to bulk, right, I'm at about 3,200. That's about my average day. For me to bulk, I'd probably go to 34, 35 max. And that would be after right now changing my training, changing my sleeping to maximize my ability to add lean tissue. So I wouldn't even increase calories out of the gate. And I'm going to ride that wave probably for a little bit. I'm going to get all my training nice and tight and systematized and organized and get everything kind of nice and planned. Same thing to drop weight. If I'm at 3,200, I'm going to start to increase my output before I'm dropping my calories. I'm going to get in my early cardio, 20 minutes at a clip. That's going to be a benefit. Post-meal, post-workout, that's a benefit. So there's ways to scale into this, and that's the point here is scale. People want it too quick, I want to bulk now, double my calories, take the powders and throw some creatine in there. You're going to end up fat in 6 weeks. And then you're going to spend 12 weeks dieting back down to exactly what you are right now. That's what most people do. Or if you think about our peer groups, that's what most people do.
Yeah, they never reach a point beyond where they started, put on 15 pounds or whatever it may be. And then here comes shredding season or cutting season, and you look exactly the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, taking it a little bit slower than most people would think.
Henrik, what's up, brother? Hey, guys. Coach Henrik out of Sweden was wondering what you meant by that pull-push was not as optimal as a full body 3 times a week or a push-pull legs for building a summer body. Or maybe I misunderstood. Goal is hypertrophy. So this was, I vaguely remember maybe 2 or so weeks ago, I was running one of these, and I want you to jump in here in a second, Lindsay, and hopefully correct me even. But for the summer body, and it really was, in order to build the summer, and this is a great segue actually into the summer body conversation. The summer body conversation, what we're looking to do and why I really like the push-pull legs is the push-pull legs gets me in the gym 6 days or more per week, training at high levels of intensity under load with resistance, right? And I'm segmenting the body into a system that gives me enough touches of each muscle group or primary movement to take advantage of muscle protein synthesis. I'm hitting my push, my back muscles, then my chest muscles, then my legs. And hey, boom, I'm hitting my back muscles again. I'm really taking advantage of that 48 to 72 hour muscle protein synthesis, while at the same time, I'm burning more total calories per day because this system has me in the gym. When I do push-pull legs, I'll train concurrently. I'll train until I need a day off. I don't go Monday through Saturday. I don't care. I never know what day it is, by the way. So I don't really care about, well, it's Sunday. I don't train on Sunday. No, I love to fucking train on Sunday. Whatever I do on Sunday, if it happens to be Sunday, I make it the worst workout of the week. So horrible, so painful, so ugly, because everyone takes it easy on Sunday. And that's just how mentally I can help keep an edge for myself. I want to suffer on a Sunday, not take it easy on a Sunday. But point being, to back up, push-pull is typically push muscles on Monday, push muscles on Thursday, pull on Tuesday, pull on Friday. Push-pull gives me a lot more days off. That's great to grow, but not so much for the summer body, which is more just getting really like lean and packed in and tight. So, and then we have the full body every other day, which is a great athletic system. I like the full body every other day. But in that, I'm going to be putting a lot more gymnastic style or field type of workouts on the days off, or GPP dragging and carries and things like that, wheelbarrows and, net climbing or whatever else it might be. So those 3 different systems work extremely well for a specific goal. Now, they'll work well enough for any goal, right? If you're doing push-pull while dieting down and you're on Wednesday and Saturday, you're hitting some assault bikes or you're doing some sand dunes or something else like that. You're playing like you ever see the med ball volleyball?
Yeah.
right? If you're doing something like that, I might try that this summer, actually. If you're doing something like that, you're going to be pretty good. You, Henrik, with your mindset, you're going to make it work out for sure. But that push-pull legs, man, that's a gnarly system to really get things packed in.
Yeah, and I think for most people, like anything is better than nothing. So as long as you're getting in there and doing it, and I think especially like for the more so the females, females are so afraid of lifting weights, and I don't understand why. I mean, I do understand why, because there's still some sort of misconception that you're going to get, manly or whatever. But why would you not want to look lean? I just don't understand that. So I think part of it is like a societal thing. Like people are intimidated to go into a gym and pick up a barbell because they think everybody's looking at them when really nobody's looking at you. So it is interesting to think about it that way. But no, push-pull legs is awesome just for that reason, because you can get more days in the week. The goal, especially when we're getting closer to summer, is increasing our output a little bit more, expending more calories every day. So if we can increase our time or be more efficient in the gym, using compound movements and things like that. And also with a resistance training bout, you're going to be burning more calories throughout the day, in comparison to taking a rest day. So your resting metabolic rate is actually going to be increased if we are, putting in a high intensity lifting session in more days than not.
Agreed. Spot on. Got a lot more questions here. So let's actually, a ton of questions here. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to them all. We're actually at the hour mark right now, but I think we just really went over the strength training side. Let's touch a little bit more on nutrition for the summer body. Now, if anyone's interested, of course, you can click the links below. You can save 25% on our online 4-week and 12-week weight loss program with promo code TRANSFORM at thedolcediet.com. So click the link below, explore it. If it makes sense for you, definitely take advantage. You can work one-on-one with Lindsay if you want Lindsay to create you your most perfect, ideal 8-week program, like taking everything into consideration. She becomes your personal dietitian. That would be amazing. Or one-on-one consultations. All that is in the links below. But for your summer body, the one thing I will say, the most important part of building that summer body, where most people go wrong, is being compliant. It's sticking to it, and it's following it, and it's not breaking it. It's not having a little bit of this, and we get pulled into these social influences. By and large, that's where I see almost every person go wrong. It's not about your macros. If you're eating, 0.75 grams per pound of total body mass or 1.25, that's a pretty big swing in total amount of protein eaten per day. But that is going to have a minimal impact on your physique until you're like 90% of the way to perfection. No one's going to know. I'm not going to be able to see it. And, it looks like he's only eating 0.8 grams of protein per day. That doesn't look too good over here. No, that's BS. You got to swing the axe every day. You got to be focused. You got to wake up. You got to move your body. You got to stay hydrated. You got to avoid synthetic toxic chemicals. You got to stay away from all the processed foods and all the processed sugar, all the artificial stuff. You got to stop all the crap and just really break it down. I like a 4-meal split per day. Meal, call what you want. If it's 2 whole meals and 2 shakes, great. If it's 2 meals, a pre-workout and a post-workout, great. It's 4 feedings per day typically, because that seems to be the right ratio to get the amount of bulk matter into your body and make its way through your digestive system in the most efficient manner to actually absorb these nutrients and break these nutrients down and then send them off to where they need to go, right? We have to take, and I like this, we have to take this piece of food right here, right? I eat 3,200 calories per day. How many is that going to be? 10 of these iPhones in food? That's like 6 big plates of food. Fill up these plates of food. Now I actually have to consume this bulk food matter. I have to break it all down, absorb it, and then send it off to where it has to go. Man, if I try and do that in 1 meal or 2 meals, it's hard. So why I say 4, maybe it's 3, maybe it's 2. I don't know. Maybe it's 8 for some. Point is, start with about 4 feedings per day, systematize them, make them about the same size, and then just listen to your body for 3 days. How you feel? How's it working? and then slowly scale from there. So that's just my little general context rant. I didn't mention a macro, didn't mention a calorie, right? Or, just my own relative intake just for conceptualization.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said in the beginning was exactly what I was going to say is
Sorry.
Just that word for word, literally.
I read your crib notes.
But no, that's the thing is being consistent and being compliant. People think that they could automatically build a summer body, so we'll say, by doing the same things that they've always done in the past.
Yeah.
In order to look a different way or look the way that you want to, you have to do something or create habits that you did not have before. Yeah. So it's like the quote, like to go somewhere you've never been, you have to do something you've never done before, something like that. But no, it's like not, okay, Easter, it's like, I'm going to have one Reese's egg. Well, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. And I understand like people will come back and say everything in moderation, but if you want to look a certain way, and especially those of you that want to really, really cut down your body fat percentage, like you have to be strict, like super strict. And you've probably been in where most people have been is every summer, here comes Memorial Day, here comes June. And you're like, son of a bitch, I look exactly the same way I did last summer.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, what did you do to not look that way? So I think it's definitely the consistency piece and, breaking your day down into each individual meal and snack and saying, what is this going to do to help me get to where I need to go? And continuously reminding yourself of your goal so that you don't fall off.
Yeah, so when we break it down, and I just put a link in below if anyone's interested in the 4-week or the 12-week plan, the promo code, that's all there so you don't have to search and find it. Everything is broken down for you, but what you're going to find is the meals are so simple, right? They're helpful. The whole food, they're real meals. Most people are so shocked at how much total food there is in these plans. It's not a caloric reduction program, a calorie reduction plan. We're actually teaching you how to eat healthful whole food in wide variety. Really, it's a lot more food. In our weight loss concept, and part of this summer shredded concept is we want to feed the muscle. I want to feed the activity. I want to feed the expenditure. I want to put you in a position where you can really express yourself athletically and build shape and vigor to the physique, not simply starve yourself and, quote, diet down, because you look bad, right? Skinny fat syndrome sets in. You lose all your muscle. You lose all your shape. Body fat percentage oftentimes doesn't drop during a weight loss. You could lose 10, 15, 20 pounds and really not change your total body fat percentage because fat and tissue, lean tissue, are being lost at a proportionate rate to each other. That's not what we want to do. So always think about feeding the muscle tissue, stimulating the muscle tissue through activity in a manner that engages you, it challenges you, you enjoy it, you're not great at it, you're getting better at it, it gets you out of bed in the morning, something that's fun. If you can wrap some community and culture around it, that'd be great also. In the times that we live in, we all need to engage, I think, with like-minded individuals in a safe manner. If you can get into a boot camp class or some of the gyms are open now, training systems and things like that, working one-on-one in the online classes and things like that. I think that's important also. Getting outside, I think, is huge because we're talking summer body. Get outside now. Start to show a little skin. I want to get a little sun-kissed out there. I want that vitamin D. I want that blue skies resetting my circadian rhythm. I want to be a part of that. I want to take advantage of chronobiology, right? I want to be awake when the sun comes up, and I want to go to sleep as the sun goes down. I want to engage in all of these things. These have benefit. One thing by itself will be minuscule, imperceivable. All of these things together, and this goes back to the concept we were speaking of, all of these things together, well, this is where you really move the chains.
Yeah.
Your whole life is dedicated to being a better version of yourself, healthier. And it's not so vain and narcissistic as, like abs over relationships. It's not about that. It's just not being so full of BS anymore where, most people are. Once you put that first, sweater on in the fall, woo, things change, right? All of a sudden, we start rationalizing how much weight we actually gained, how we actually look in these jeans. Mm-hmm. Summer is the leveling factor.
Yes. which is why if we could live 70 degrees every day, we would never have to worry about being able to put a sweatshirt on and being like, ooh, I'm going to have that pizza because it doesn't matter.
That's right. You can't get away with the pizza at 70 degrees.
I need tank top season 365 days a week.
I am so in. I'm so in.
Yes.
All right. So we're at the hour right now, and I know there's a bunch of questions. I appreciate you guys all for these questions. You guys are great. We will be back on tomorrow. Lindsay, love to get you back on. We're going to do one of the battle-tested series this week, so definitely want you to be a part of that. We're going to have some fun and change the format just a little bit. I think it'll be better for the audience, by the way, and more fun topics, a little less of diet and fitness topics and a little more of just life topics. So I think that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Anything else you got before you jump off?
I was gonna bring it. It never came up in topics today, but
Go.
thought I was gonna start a massive fight on your Instagram post.
Tell me. Oh, I love this. I saw this actually. Go.
It was your Easter. It was your Easter post, and the guy's like, I don't know who it is. Like, no offense to this person.
Troll number 7. Yeah, I remember.
But he's like, well, show me one shred of evidence or one research article that states that artificial sweeteners are like toxic.
Yeah.
And I wrote back, I just said, show me one shred of evidence that says artificial sweeteners are healthy and good for you and recommended. So I went back and he said something like, this isn't how science works. Like, you made the claim, so you have to back it up. I'm like, just go on the internet. You could find hundreds of research articles that, back that up. So it is interesting. Like, it's just funny.
Yeah.
So I did do a little research, just to be able to back up my statement a little further, but it's hard, and I don't want to go too long on artificial sweeteners because it's a whole different topic, but it's hard. The research with artificial sweeteners is hard because in the research world, there's so many standards. So people are not going to volunteer and sign up to be like, yeah, fill me up with all of this. There we go. Pump me up with all of this artificial sweeteners and see what happens. Like, maybe I'll have reduced insulin sensitivity, or, maybe I'll become chronically inflamed. So a lot of this research is done on like rats and stuff. So it's a little bit more difficult, but I'm waiting for it.
I know, me too. Oh, here we go. So
Yes.
This Swanky says, can you please provide one citation that backs up your claim that sugar or artificial sweeteners are toxic? And I responded simply, there are literally thousands. Like, literally, there are thousands of citations that clearly show that synthetic toxic chemicals, artificial sweeteners, have a wide array of negative effects. Now, there's so many different ways to create these different studies and controls and all these different things, but there are literally thousands. People will argue that the FDA says that they're safe. We can go down that rabbit hole. I'm not here to do your homework for you, right? And that's what fools like this want. But this is the basic troll trap. They try and get you to hang your hat on one thing, and then they will do everything they can to debate that one minutia, the one little point. And here's Lindsay jumps in. Could you provide one citation that backs up a claim stating the artificial sweeteners are healthy or are recommended? Ooh, fire. And then this individual says, I didn't make the claim, exclamation point. You realize this isn't how science works, right? The responsibility is on the claimant to back up what they say. Oh, a single tear falls from my eye like
Tiny violin.
A tiny little violin. You're so mad. You're so mad. And you so science, don't you, Swanky 79? You definitely are a man or woman of science, I'm so sure. Asking me to prove one citation that dangerous synthetic toxic chemicals not born of this earth are unhealthy inside the human organism. Are you fucking serious? Are you that stupid, my friend? Come on now.
Oh, it gave me a chuckle last night.
It's so funny how, and the point of this post for those who were here. I'll just briefly kind of touch on the post briefly. That might kind of create some triggering. But basically, I go through here and I talk about poisoning our children on every major holiday with processed sugars, artificial sweeteners, hydrogenated oils, and synthetic toxic chemicals. Doesn't interest us much. That's me as a parent, right? Instead, we pack our children's baskets with toys and games and arts and crafts and books and trinkets to expand their minds and engage their souls. Look at that. What kid is mad with that, especially when she is in the Book of Life Disney movie phase? What kid is mad? A baby yoga water bottle to bring to gymnastics with yoga stickers inside? Are you kidding me? This is way better than any disgusting little yellow peep will be. Kinetic sand? Are you freaking nuts? Books and puzzles and Play-Doh machines? This is insanity. Right? Insanity. What kind of parent am I to give my child these amazing gifts that they absolutely love and are using literally at the moment I'm leaving the house this morning, days after Easter Sunday? And I didn't poison them with yellow number 7 and FD number 4 and whatever other thing that might be. So mostly this was very well received, I think, this post this year. In past years, at first, it wasn't well received. It was like people got some, and some famous people came on and got a little heated too. And then they deleted their post because they realized they must sound like a fucking idiot saying like, it's okay to poison your kids.
Yeah.
Why is that okay? I don't get it.
And again, back to the research argument, like, yeah, you could research or look up one single ingredient and say like, okay, that by itself is probably okay. But the things that these artificial sweeteners and dyes and things like that, the products that they're in as a whole. So if we did the research on not just like sucralose, but if we gave them Peeps like once a week for 2 years, then you tell me what their gut looks like and inflammation looks like.
Yeah.
And their insulin resistance and all that stuff. So it's a combination of factors.
Yeah. And most of the time, people, they live in this weird vacuum. They believe that one piece of candy is not going to kill my child. Therefore, Dolce is wrong. But that's never the case, right? The person who skips a workout is not the person who skips just one workout. That's a person who skips their workouts chronically. And when they get there, they probably call it in. It's indicative of the culture
and habits over time.
Habits, right? So the family that feeds their children candy feeds their children candy. That's okay. I'm not a family that chooses to do so. Have my children have candy? Yes, they've had candy, of course. They've had birthday cake. Yes, of course they have. They do not prefer it because they find it off-putting to a degree. They're allowed to have it at certain times. It's not like we're gun to their head, they'll never eat candy, but we're teaching them the difference of what candy actually does, what processed sugars do, what synthetic toxic chemicals are. We're teaching them, and then they can make the decision. If they want to have some almond M&Ms, whenever they want to have them, let's say, with not a regular thing, go ahead, that's fine. They're going to be making their own decisions. And as a parent, that's important. But this guy or gal, whoever Swanky was, those people, they're just trying to get attention. Speaking about these idiot topics, which just really makes them look silly. Are you really arguing that it's not beneficial? Right? Like, is that the argument? Is that we should be feeding that to our children? Is that the argument right now?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I try to kind of throw it back at him. Like, well, argue to me that it's good for you.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, but clearly Professor Lindsay Howard, this individual knows how science works. And clearly you're sitting in a science lab right now, literally sitting in the science lab at an American university. And this guy or gal, Swanky, is telling you how to actually science.
Okay.
I love it. That's great. That's great. Well, everyone, I appreciate you guys and gals for being here. Lindsay, as always, I appreciate you being here and all the value you certainly add to make this time valuable for everyone watching. Lord knows I deter from that point. So thank you for classing up this joint. We will be back again soon. We got a lot of cool stuff coming. New videos again all this week. New videos, new podcasts will be out. We're going to be putting these Ask the Dietitian episodes into the audio format, so there will be audio podcasts on the iTunes, Spotify, everywhere you get our podcast. You'll see some of these. And again, you can work with Lindsay. Click the links below. We have all sorts of products and services available if they suit you. At this point, definitely take advantage. And until next time, boom.